For those who are interested in mobile, how many are actually developing mobile apps today? Okay, how many have plans to develop mobile apps? Okay, and how many actually just wanted a cool gadget to hold around? Because that's effectively what I did. Now, I still haven't gotten one of these from IBM itself. I have to pay for it myself, but it's kind of interesting. So, as I was actually going through the topics, and again, this is like, I planned for this yesterday afternoon. I asked, well, what are the topics there? And if you look at the mobile-related topics, we have things like, is WebSphere ready for mobile, right? Trends in mobile banking, commerce and mobile, etc. And there's going to be people actually talking about those sort of sessions, but instead I'm going to use my wisdom of 23 years at IBM. And I'm a second generation IBMer, so I actually have more than 23 years of IBM experience. I'm going to use my wisdom to basically just talk a little bit about what I see happening, what questions customers are asking me, and fundamentally, I think a lot of this boils down to simplification, right? It's about mobile first. It's really about thinking, how are we going to simplify application developers' lives, make it easy, right, in order to be effective to develop mobile applications as part of that. And, when I talk to customers to see what actually makes them successful for building mobile apps, I really typically see a pattern of, there's kind of a three-phase process. Phase number one is focus on the UI. Now, what that really means is focus on, what's the layout going to actually look like? Take the role of your end user who's actually using the UI itself, right? What are they actually looking to do? What data is actually needed? What context can I actually use on the device in order to actually improve the experience? It's a completely different model than what we actually had with developing websites. Because for websites, you develop a publishing model, then they would add more to the website, and pretty soon websites had gotten cluttered. In fact, I heard a story the other day when I was actually talking to a customer, and they were basically saying that their mobile website actually got more traffic than their normal website. And when I asked them about it, it was basically because their mobile website allowed them to do 5 things, and 5 things only. And it was an uncluttered sort of experience. And that's kind of what I mean by simplification, right? We're starting to see a trend where customers are really just looking for fit-for-purpose apps that do one thing very fast. And in the world of mobile, where you're really looking for this interrupt-driven sort of environment, that's the sticky apps are those apps that are actually going to allow you to do this as fast as possible. The second phase typically then tends to be services. Okay, so since you know the UI, you know what the data is, it makes it easy to define the services, easy to aggregate them together, and then and only then do you actually then get into a situation of, so what's the technology choice on the client side? So by going through that exercise, it focuses on simplification going forward as part of that. When I look at some of the questions that customers have asked me in this conference, right? How do I start? Where do I start? I always start with the UI sort of thing. The next question that comes up is with respect to, and this came to me at dinner last night, they had multiple lines of businesses. They were trying to figure out, should I do a center of excellence? Do I actually enforce a paradigm for doing mobile application development as part of them? Again, from an agile perspective, it's all about bringing value and being able to deliver it quickly and iterate fast. And in most of the cases where we see success are for those customers that basically do small POCs, they do fit-for-purpose apps. Doing the POC does a couple of things, right? One is it allows them to quickly gain insight, figure out what works right, what works wrong, where are their skills, how difficult is it not just to do the technology of the app, but how difficult is it to integrate it in the enterprise? How difficult is it to go through and deal with all of the security requirements, exposing the public endpoints? Just doing that small POC will help a corporation learn a lot in order to actually execute quickly and agilely for some of these things. Part of what I do as a technical person is, I like to open up the hood a little bit and actually explain to customers the method to the madness. What I see, what we're doing in IBM, what I see is the rationale driving the things that we're actually doing. And working at IBM for 23 years, a couple things I'll note is that I do see a change in a trend in how we as IBM approach development. Some of this, you'll kind of see the difference with respect to as we start to acquire new blood through acquisitions, whether it be the Lombardi acquisition, the Big Fix acquisition, which led to our mobile device management solution, the Worklight acquisition, which led to our mobile application development platform. The thing that's exciting about that is it's that startup mentality. right? And what was funny is I was listening to Ron Perry, who's the CTO of Worklight, talk, and we were actually doing future planning for what are the next generation set of requirements. So I'm in Israel, I'm working on a whiteboard, I'm drawing down, okay, we need this, we need this feature here, we need that feature there, we need that feature there. And after we spent about an hour actually going through and building up this big matrix of features and actually talking through the prioritization of it, Ron's like, it's funny, because when you think of feature X, right, whether that be data synchronization, push notifications, whatever, he's like, I think of value, right? I think of, we're really trying to make it easy for customers to abstract the ability to notify somebody and that sort of thing. We're really making it easy for customers to actually get data on the device and secure them from that perspective. So again, it's all about the simplification aspect of it, and you know, working in a large company like that, we tend to lose sight of what makes our products easy to use. Now, as developers building mobile applications, you really have the same sort of value system that we're trying to, or you should be thinking of your customers. What are they really going to want to do? How do you actually show value to them? How do you innovate with your product portfolio, right? And that's the key thing, I think, that certainly this Worklight acquisition has reminded me of within IBM, and the movement to mobile and mobile first as the simplification mechanism actually goes through. There's topics up here for security. It's kind of interesting. The first discussion we have with customers are, you know, what do I need to develop a mobile application? Which technology should I actually use? What's my UI design? How do I actually design it from that perspective? The next thing that actually always comes up is security, right? How do we actually make this secure? What security features do you actually have to build in? And there's paranoia, especially when you're talking enterprise data, about security. Now, I'm not going to go and tell you all of the features that Worklight offers for security and all of the things that we're actually doing with IBM from a security perspective. But let's just say, suffice it to say, and I think there's a session on it this Thursday for Worklight, there's a lot of stuff that we actually do. There's like 5 different security objectives that we actually have within Worklight. There's about 20 different security features that they've built in, right? And it leads to the question or the statement about middleware, right? A lot of the value proposition of Worklight is about access, making it easy to develop mobile applications, allowing and embracing the ecosystem of web applications or native applications as part of it, providing middleware to make it, and remove some of the complexity for the things that you're actually doing, right? And it reminds me of kind of my 14 or 15 years of WebSphere since it actually started, right? WebSphere started as building mobile middleware. It started as trying to reduce the burden and complexity of application developers. So if we aren't producing products that are actually providing value add that frees you up from the complexity, which is what our goal is of what we're trying to do with our offerings, our product offerings, including what we actually have in Worklight, then we've lost our value proposition, and we need to hear about that. So, I mean, from a middleware perspective, we're going to continue to try to make your lives easier as developers, your lives easier as customers using our products, and that's kind of the goal of how we're actually going to go back and try to simplify things going forward. You know, it goes back to that, you know, develop mobile first, right? Add in that simplification perspective. You know, Einstein basically stated that everything should be made as simple as possible, but no simpler, right? Meaning, we don't want to dumb it down too much that it's not worthwhile, but we need to make it as easy as possible, because then and only then you actually really get the value out of the application, out of the platform, etc., for what you're actually starting to leave. So that said, that's all I have to say. I hope you guys have a good conference, and thank you very much.